Hey everyone, solving cooling issues with a 958 is part of the fun of ownership. So this Cayenne 2011S had coolant dripping from behind the driver's side front left wheel. And so the heater lines on this car, the HVAC system's heater, has coolant lines that run in that area. So we're going to disable the level control on this. This one has air suspension, so that's done by holding the suspension height lever up for about 10 or 11 seconds. Once the little arrows on this indicator show red at the top and the bottom, that means that the level control is off, and the dash warning will tell us that the level control is turned off. So we're ready to jack this thing up now so that we can go figure out what's going on with it. So we'll pull the key and let's get raising this car up. And so we're gonna raise up just the front left, since that's the only area we need to work on here. And we'll just use a floor jack to do so. Wheels coming off. I usually prefer to use two of these little dowels to help slide these big heavy wheels off. It makes life a whole lot easier. And so we use two dowels, slide this wheel off. And the wheel liner has been removed already. We're going to put a jack stand in place. And we'll check the position of the jack stand, make sure it's in a good spot. On the subframe is an ideal spot to put this. And it all looks good. We're not going to be climbing under the car, but good to have that up in case the jack fails. So now we can take a look into the back of the wheel liner area, see the aluminum lines running to a couple of flexible rubber lines. Those are the two inlet and outlet heater lines. Closer inspection, it's pretty hard to tell. In this case, it's actually pretty easy because we can see some of the coolant leaking. But all of these things are tucked up into the fender wheel well, so it's difficult to perfectly diagnose what the problem is. So getting these, unhooking the attachment points allows us to actually move the whole section out from behind the fender. So we're going to start with the bottom connection here. A little 10mm socket is used just to pull off that nut. And then there's going to be two Torx screws that are holding a steel bracket. And so we'll just loosen each of those up and undo the two screws. And then once those are undone, we'll be able to start to move things out from its little hiding place inside that wheel well. So we'll buzz out the two screws, here they come, and then once we get this final second screw out, you'll see the whole thing starts to move because the flexible rubber lines allow this to be pulled out of position. And so we can kind of unhook it and move it gently toward us. Now we can't pull it all the way. We're going to have two electrical connections that are going to be holding this in there, but you can see how it's fairly loose now, and we can take a better look inside. There's the first electrical connection on the recirculation valve, and so that's an easy one to pull off. It's got easy access to where it's at, and there is a second plug on the back side of the heater control valve itself. There it is. So let's get the first connector off, which is going to be the one holding everything up. That's on the recirculation motor. And so that's just a standard plug used elsewhere on the Cayenne all over the place. You just squeeze the little tab and it will unhook itself and pop itself out. And once that's unhooked, just that one, we can now move this fully out from under the fender region so the whole thing can be inspected. And so now that that plug is off, just a little gentle pressure, we can now see the entire way this is put together. We can also see the leakage that's present right there on that heater control valve and where the hose comes into it. So we'll take a look at that a little closer here once we take stuff apart. So before we undo things, what I want to do is lose as little coolant as possible. So we're going to clamp the coolant line that comes from the coolant reservoir in the engine compartment. So we'll use a vice grip with some protective covers on it to pinch off the large hose here. There we go, that's all set. And so now we can move into the wheel well, and that's what we'll be doing all our work. So we're going to clamp off two of the lines here so that we can not have the heater core drain itself out. And so using these little, these are Harbor Freight hose clamp lines, pretty handy. Just thread these on. We're going to go quick speed here. They gently compress the line without harming them. So we're going to use two of them. One of them on this line, which is the inlet to the heater core. And then we've got one more, which is the feed line from the engine compartment. So looking downward here, the two lines coming in, we're going to do the right side line here, which is the feed line from the engine compartment. We're going to use another one of these hose clamp tools to clamp this line off. And that we're going to lose as little coolant as possible once we disassemble the entire assembly here to get off the heater control valve itself. So with the lines clamped off, we're ready to start disassembling things. We're going to start with some of the hose clamps, and we're working from the right side here just because we're removing the heater control valve, which is on the right of this whole part. So hose clamps coming off here, got a couple of them to undo. Pretty easy with the right tools. Once the hose clamps are taken off, then we have to address the electrical plug that's on the back side of the heater control valve. So here's the electrical plug. It's a pretty simple plug where you just press on a little lever to detach it. So we'll zoom in here to take a look at it because it's a little bit of a strange plug that I haven't seen anywhere else on the Cayenne. But pretty straightforward, just push the little tab and it will pull right off. And so now we're going to undo there's a strap that's holding the line onto the steel support bracket. And so we're going to undo that Torx bolt. And now we're ready to remove the right side hose here since we've detached both of the hose clamps. So we're going to pop up the control valve out of the metal bracket and use some of these cooling line detaching tools, which are wonderful. And so we'll slide these around to loosen up the hose. A little bit of coolant's going to leak out here, but these are not too difficult to undo. We are going to, since I want to make sure we're not having to do this again, we're going to replace this hose that I'm undoing here as well as the hose that's on the left side of the heater control valve itself. So once we undo the first section, this is the first connection here, we'll pull this one apart. We'll lose a little bit of coolant when we do that, but not very much, and that's again thanks to clamping off the lines. And so a little bit of drainage there from the little bit that's clamped off. And now we can get working on taking this little hose segment off, which we do have a new one to replace it. That'll come off, and here we go. We now have that section off, so let's keep working our way through. So we're going to undo our next hose clamp. Again, pretty easy with the correct hose clamp tools, and we can wiggle this on out of there because we've detached the electrical plug. We can slide out this heater control valve completely. And here it is. And so we can see in looking at it now that's in our hands, we can see the leakage that was happening running down the entire body of the control valve. Doesn't look like it's cracked, but leakage was certainly happening. And so I'm glad we're replacing the hose as well as the hose clamps and the heater control valve. And so that way we don't have to worry about coming back into this thing. So here's how it looks. You can see the leakage. And so let's keep moving on here because we're going to replace that other hose that's present. So we're going to get rid of the hose clamps so they're out of our way. And then we can slide off the little support collar and then go after the next hose clamp that's on the heater recirculation motor. And so let's get this clamp off, and then we'll use our hose removal tools again. This is a 2011, so this has been stuck on there for quite a few years. And so we'll have to just wiggle this guy off. Not too difficult, but we do not want to break it, the plastic of the heater recirculation motor. And there we go. Once we get it free, it's easy to just kind of slide it around and get that thing off. So now we've finally undone all the parts that we need to undo here. And there's the amount of coolant we lost. So not very much. That's a very small amount that should be easy just to top up without having to do a full vacuum refill. So here are all the pieces that were removed: the 4 hose clamps, 2 hoses, and the heater control valve itself. We're going to reuse the collar because that's not something that'll wear out, and I'm not worried about it. And so there's our parts we're going to replace. And here's the replacement parts that we'll be using. And so after opening up the bag of the new heater control valve, it's important to notice that the heater control valve, has a smaller hose barb end compared to the recirculation motor, and a smaller hose barb end compared to the pipe, the inlet pipe. So when you're looking at the hose, these are new factory pieces here from the dealership. These hoses do have a larger size. So if you can't tell with your eyeballs, you're going to have to measure it because one side is bigger and designed to go on the larger hose barb section. So in this case, we're lining it up properly. The bigger size goes there where the heater recirculation motor is. So to get this all built and put back together here, we're going to clean up each of the parts that we're not replacing, so just wiping these down. And to facilitate the installation of these parts, we'll be using the Porsche cooling system lube that works wonders. It makes it a whole lot easier to get these pieces together. So we'll put some of that on each of the connection points here. So here we're putting on the recirculation motor and on the pipe. And then we'll be putting it on our new heater control valve barbs as well. So on both sides of those, we'll get each of those lubed up, and that way the hose slides on very easily and less risk of hurting something in the process. So the first part we're going to put on here is our hose, making sure that we're putting the proper side on. So the larger side is going to go on the heater motor. And we're getting new hose clamps as well. So these are the part numbers and the new parts. So let's get our first new hose clamp on there. Lining it up directly in the middle, just like the little diagram shows on the hose clamp itself. Next up is the little support collar. And then the next hose clamp is going to go on here. We'll have to scoot that support collar over a little bit just to give us some room to squeeze all this together. And so with the hose clamp pliers just sitting there like that, we're able to now reassemble everything. So we're going to put the heater control valve into position, wiggle it into place. It helps with the lube that's on there, and get it popped up into the steel bracket. And now we can move our hose clamp into position. So it's pretty simple installation, or reinstallation, just back how you found it. So we'll line up the hose clamps directly in the middle, just as the little markings are on the hose. There we go. And next up is to line up and put back together all these little retaining little supports. And so I undid the one that's on the motor that I'm handling right now. That one actually doesn't need to come off, but I need to put it back since I undid this. So there's a 10mm nut that will go onto that I start by threading it by hand. And then we have the Torx bolt that will go on the support collar that's holding onto the hose itself. So here we'll buzz this nut into position. And then we'll get our Torx screw put in place on the middle collar strap. And so it's kind of hard when these are under pressure or just not lined up well, so I usually start them by hand. And this one I just did all the way by hand. Going super speed here. And once that's in and together, then we'll use a small wrench just to make sure everything is all nice and tight on both of them, so the nut as well as the screw itself. So there we are. We're all together for the midsection there. Check your work. Make sure all the pipes are lined up just right. Still have to do that plug on the left, but we also have the pipe to put on the right side. And so this right side plug, that's our next step here to get put on. And so pretty straightforward. We're going to put this on with the hose clamp on it. So we'll put the hose clamp on first, slide this into position, a little super speed here because this is pretty straightforward. I like to line everything up so that you can see the little diagrams, the little markings on the hose itself to line up your hose clamp. And that one is right on. Next up, this one, same deal. We'll put it into position and seat our hose clamp as it shows on the little diagram on the hose itself. And there we go. We've got all the parts now put into place. We just have 2 electrical plugs to do. So check your work. Make sure that the hoses are all seated. Hose clamps are lined up well. This looks pretty good. We're ready to put everything back together. And so we can undo our clamps of the coolant lines here. So we'll undo both of these that are in the fender well just because we're here. And so we'll get the one under the hood once we're all done here. But first off, let's get these clamps off. And with each of those off now, it's the electrical plugs to put in. We have 2 of them. This one's on the heater control valve. It goes on the back side, so kind of hard to see, but with your hands you can just feel, line it up, and pop it in place. And so you hear it pop. That makes sure you know you've driven it home. This one's pretty hard because there's not any slack to this cable, and so it helps to actually push the whole thing into position. I even just put the entire thing back into place, but once you push it up into its little hiding place up in the fender, now there's enough room to easily plug that in. So putting it back up in the fender, we have the several attachment points here. This little rubber strap kind of gets discombobulated when you undo everything, but we'll put the nut on, drive it into place, and then we'll realign that little rubber support that keeps the lines positioned and doesn't let them rub on each other. And so here we are, everything looks good in that spot. And then we'll hook up the upper bracket, the upper steel bracket, after we give this a little bit of torque. We're going to hook the upper bracket. It has a little tab on the middle between those two screws. So once the tab is seated, the screws will easily go into position. And so these are screws with washers with a little rubber insulating bushing. So make sure all those pieces are together. Sometimes the washer will fall out. So make sure the washer is there as well. So we'll drive both of these torque screws into position. Use a small wrench just to make sure that they're tight. And now that that's in position, the last part here is the electrical plug on the recirculation motor itself. So peeking up inside is pretty easy to see it, but just give it a pop until you hear it. And our last step is undoing our clamp in the engine bay that was holding the cooling reservoir line so we'd lose as little coolant as possible. So a fender liner has to go back in. That's our next step here in the wheel well itself. And then once the fender liner is in place, it's time to get the wheel put in place as well. So these are a little floppy, a little dirty, but get all the screws in there, make sure it's all lined up properly, and once that's been put into position, we can get the wheel put in place to finish off our project. So I'll give it a quick look over, make sure all the screws are in place, and there's 2 plastic nuts as well. So just looking through all the little spots here, looks like our wheel liners are all installed properly. And back on goes the wheel. And once the wheel is on, torqued, and the car lowered, we are all done. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more action with the 958 Garage.